Have you been thinking about what comes next?
Do you ask yourself, where do I go from here?
What can I celebrate? So, Jeff, as we've been talking to a number of students over the past few weeks, I know a lot of people have had this question about really what comes next. What can they do in this sort of pandemic timeframe to help find a job, to take that next step with grad school, to just start working, or take that time to figure out life? What are some things that you've seen, heard, practiced that you think would be helpful for those graduating students?
Honestly, the best things that I've heard, the best things that I've seen that have worked well for students and even my own experience is kind of keep it small, keep it manageable. Think about, what is it that you want to do? That's the first big thing. There's a lot of things you can do. What is it that you want to do? If you're going to try and be a little strategic about this, if you're going to try and make that plan, what could it look like as you're looking at the next few months? Sometimes it's as easy as even thinking about at the end of it, what do you want to say that you've done? If you are, if you're graduating, if you're looking at that first step in your career, maybe it's even thinking about in 5 or 10 years time with that career, where do you want to be? So then what's that first job that you need to get there? And if you're, finishing up that first year of college, thinking about you just had an extraordinary experience. I mean, this was a first year for any college student that is unlike any other. How are you going to celebrate that? And then also thinking a little bit along the lines of how are you going to prepare for what comes next for that next year? What have you heard? What kinds of things come to mind for you?
Well, I think about my conversations with students in years past. And though this is a very unique and different kind of year, it's not uncommon for students to graduate in the midst of, world happenings. I remember when I graduated, the economy was tanking. And so uh, people like myself had to figure out what were we going to do and what was next. I always think that there's opportunities regardless of how things look. Um, Someone has a job somewhere, they're working. The whole world isn't ending, right? It's There's new challenges, there's new opportunities, and we have to think strategically on what is important and valuable for us as individuals and work toward some aspect of that or all aspects of it, whether it's we consider the jobs we're applying to, or we're thinking about what corporations or businesses, nonprofits we want to get engaged with, or we're pushing back against the narrative that we've been taught even through our classes, right? Um, I remember when I was graduating with my master's, they told us, your starting salary should be nothing less than $60,000. And the economy tanked, the housing market bubble blew up, and everyone was trying to figure things out. I was a school counselor, and that was not something people were hiring for at that time. And I didn't have a job for a few months. And ultimately, I found my way because a friend of mine reached out and said, "Hey, there's a company that is looking, the company I'm working for is looking for somebody to grill some hot dogs for move-in weekend." And I love to grill and I needed some pocket money. And so I took that, and that opened up an opportunity for me to become a leasing agent. And from there, that moved me to being a leasing manager. From there, an assistant manager, acting manager. And ultimately, because of my growth in the company and some of the limitations that were presented, I received an opportunity through a peer to start working at MSU, which ultimately put me on my now career path of working with students and helping people find their level of success. So no matter what things look like, it all sort of works together and has a purpose.
I think it's a great way of looking at it, is that it's also okay not to have every moment planned out, because when everything isn't planned, when everything isn't structured, you give yourself a little bit of that creative freedom to explore possibilities. And sometimes it's going to take you in a direction you never expected. and it's going to be a direction that once you've been in it, you couldn't imagine yourself being anywhere else. And I think that it's a really cool way to think about it, is just allowing yourself to be open to the possibilities of maybe a friend calls, maybe it's someone you haven't seen in a long time, maybe it's an old high school teacher, or maybe it's a faculty member that says, hey, what about this? And it takes you somewhere that you never imagined. And I think there can be some excitement in that, because it just opens up possibilities.
Right. And I think, going back to something you said earlier, is finding those ways to celebrate um, the small, medium, large accomplishments over the past year, right? Recognizing that students are graduating in the next few weeks, and that there is a lot of unique things in their own individual situations and collectively as Spartans that they've had to navigate through and overcome and find success in and in spite of. And so taking this time to really celebrate that maybe that first online class that you had in a while wasn't as easy, but you still found a way to earn the grade that you did, is celebrate that. Or recognizing that maybe you didn't graduate with the GPA you ultimately wanted, but you're here at graduation. And so celebrating that moment, celebrating the lives of your loved ones, right? And the ups and downs that you all have been through together as a community, as a support system for each other, is celebrating each little win, every big win, and using those to continue to support your advancement overall.
I think that's a great way to think about it, because even if we look back on this last year, and if you don't feel like you've had a lot of wins, you've still learned an awful lot. And even if it's that you've learned how to best manage your time when you are maybe in the same home that you grew up in, but you're also a college student for the first time. Maybe it is managing and understanding how best you kind of take care of yourself. Self-care. This is a massive thing that we talked about in a number of our kind of between the lines issues, is really making sure that you've got those skills to take care of yourself, so that when people need you to be there for them, you can be, because you've taken care of yourself. And I think that's a great motto, kind of thinking about it, is that we need to celebrate the things that we've won, the things that we've learned, no matter how big, no matter how small, because they all have value. And I think that's incredibly important, especially as we look at, like you say, people are graduating in the next few weeks, major milestones, large accomplishments, completing first, second, third, fourth years of college, doing so in this virtual space that college students shifted to just over a year ago, and have been honestly just doing the work and working incredibly hard to make it a success. Yeah, I think there's a lot to celebrate.
The other thing I was thinking about as you were talking is, for people that are really trying to process through, where do we go from here? Or where do I go from here, right? If we want to personalize that. It's remembering that you're still a part of the Spartan nation, the Spartan family, that all the same people that you had access to are generally all the same people that are still available today. You can still meet with your academic advisor. It's never too late. You can still talk with leadership at the college level. You can still meet with your mentors. You can reach back and look through your phone books and reconnect with old classmates. You can use all the platforms that we have to continue to engage in your learning experience to connect with new people. And it's, taking that moment to be really transparent with yourself about where you're at and what your needs are and how you want to move forward. And so use this moment, use this time to continue to do what is important and necessary for your success. Whether you're just finishing your first semester or you're finishing your last semester in your undergraduate program, use this time to really connect and engage with all the people, the resources, the offices that are available to you, to take that next step and be more prepared and equipped for what is coming in your tomorrows.
My name is Jeff Keeson, and I just wanted to say thank you.
My name is Stratton Lee, and I want to thank you.
And thank you for letting us celebrate these moments, these victories, these incredible accomplishments with you.
Thank you for this moment together. Thank you for allowing us to share. And we wish you all the best. Go Green.